What's the best thing that's happened to you today? I ask that question a lot. I start meetings with it. I use it in training exercises. I use it in coaching relationships. I just really like that question. I heard the question first on an amazing TED Talk about playful inquiry, and I can definitely share that link with you if you're interested in learning more about it. I highly recommend it, and I share that often too. But the primary reason that I continue to ask that question is because I absolutely love the responses that I'm getting. Don't get me wrong, sometimes the responses are a little snarky, sometimes they're funny, but they're always authentic. And you know what? Sometimes they're literally so heartfelt that I've gotten a little teary-eyed. I love asking the question, what's the best thing that's happened to you today? Because it automatically invites a positive response. Sometimes we've gotten into the habit of just sort of making small talk that's filler. And it's sort of like, hey, how you doing? How's it going? And obviously there's a place for that. You know, that's typically what I'm asking someone if it's a super casual interaction. But in the context of our work relationship, if I want to dig a little deeper and I want to make sure that I'm setting a positive tone, I use really intentional positive language and I ask, what's the best thing that's happened to you today? I realize too that sets the tone for further questions that are also positive in nature and invite positive responses. Typically, after I've asked what's the best thing that's happened to you today, and we've discussed it a little bit, and we've gotten past the discomfort of like, hey, I don't really want to talk about it, and move to the place where we're willing to share it, I also ask, and what's the best thing that you've done for someone else lately? I have been loving the responses to that because you can tell that sometimes people don't spend a lot of time thinking about that. I think that when we frame conversations in a really intentional, positive light, when we want to hear about the best things that are happening to us and in our relationships, but also about the amazing things that we're putting out there, things that we're doing for and with other people to make the world a better place, it sets the tone for a really positive, productive working relationship. Whether the work that I'm doing in a meeting is tackling a task or a project, or if it's deeper and really trying to like make a long-term change in an organization, having that really positive framework, looking through that positive lens has the opportunity to make a really meaningful difference on our work. It might sound silly, but by choosing positive language really intentionally, by asking, what's the best thing that happened to you today? And moving forward, asking, what's the best thing that you've done for someone lately? That puts people in the frame of mind where they're feeling grateful. And gratitude has a permanent place in leadership. I feel like the very best leaders have proven themselves to have that attitude of gratitude, for lack of a better explanation, in really meaningful ways. So I will say this, when I ask the question, it inspires me to think more intentionally and more often about how that positive vibe that I'm putting out there might have an impact on someone else. It also requires that, or inspires me to be a little bit more mindful of what I'm putting out there in hopes that someone else is receiving it and feeling that gratitude for it as well. So I'm going to suggest that you think about it. What's the best thing that's happened to you today? And then if you're feeling reflective, what's the best thing that you've done for someone else lately? I'd love to hear about it.